very good afternoon to all the YouTube, Facebook, and Insta family. Very good afternoon from myself, Dr. Neha Kakkar, B.H.M.S. PTP. I am a homeopathic consultant and psychological counselor based in Meerut, Uttar Pradesh, and I have been practicing homeopathy for the past 17 years. I welcome you all to this first session of Life and Letters of Dr. Hahnemann, which was written by Dr. Thomas Lindsay Bradford. It's one of the main books written on the life of Dr. Samuel Christian Frederick Hahnemann, a great founder of homeopathic system of medicine. I'm sorry for joining in a bit late. It's already 2:10. I had a patient to attend, so it's a bit late for the live session. So as you know, this is the first session of Life and Letters of Dr. Hahnemann. It's kind of we can say, a biography or a detailed description of Dr. Hahnemann's life. And as you must have been seen in the creatives and other posts which I had posted, this session about life and letters of Dr. Hahnemann, it's just not a curiosity out of to know the life of the master, how he lived his life, and how he had his events in chronological order. It's not only just about knowing his, the specific personal details and when he was born, or did he complete his studies, when did he become a doctor, and when did he found the different principles of homeopathy, and so on and so on, when did he get married, all the personal details of his life, and eventually leading to the birth of homeopathy and different events. It's not just about knowing the chronological order or the sequence of events. It's also about gaining insights into the life of the master, of our great master Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, and what qualities did he possess as a doctor, as a homeopath, that made him that persona, that human figure who gave birth to the system of medicine of homeopathy. So we need to learn great qualities from his life and imbibe those qualities in ourselves, so that we can implement those qualities in our life, in our practice, and improve our practice. And as you must have seen in the creatives also, the heading was to transform your practice through the master himself. We can learn a lot from his life, from his philosophy, how he lived his life, what qualities did he possess, and we can also, because we need to have those qualities that zest in us, so that we can also be the same passionate, same compassionate, same dedicated homeopath, and heal the humanity with whole of our energy, wholeheartedly, and take homeopathy to the pinnacle of success, what Dr. Hahnemann had dreamt of. So, as I said, this session is not only about the sequence of events. Obviously, we will be seeing the sequence of events. What chronological order did he had in his life? What events how did they occur, and when did they occur? But mainly, we are going to see what qualities did he possess, and how we can implement those in our daily practice, in our daily life, and we can improve ourselves to gain more insights into this beautiful system of homeopathy. So, as you know, this Life and Letters of Dr. Hahnemann, written by Thomas Lindsay Bradford. This is one of the main works on the life of Dr. Hahnemann. There are other books also available. So this book is very much available online and offline. It's a big book of around many pages, and there have been a lot of translations also with books which include a lot of translation and a lot of excerpts of the author regarding the life of Hahnemann. I basically found this original book online in the archives, internet archives. There's a website called Internet Archives, and this online book of Life and Letters of Dr. Hahnemann by Thomas Lindsay Bradford is available there. I'll also share the link of the same in the comment section at the end of this video. So if you want to read the book, you can also read. Obviously, my purpose of creating this video is to take the qualities and the teachings of Dr. Hahnemann to all the Homoeopaths, because it's my passion to study about Hahnemann. It's a wonderful journey to read this book. It's beautifully written by Dr. Bradford, and what all qualities, and it's very inspiring to read this book. And I really wish to convey all my excerpts and my experience of the book to the viewers here. So as you know, this session will be containing the first seven chapters of the life and letters of Dr. Hahnemann, and we will start obviously from his birthplace, that is Messenia. Messenia was an ancient town in the country of Germany. It's still there, Messenia, but it was quite an old town where there were a lot of old types of houses, and a lot of churches were there also. So in Messenia, Germany, there was a town called Meissen, and Dr. Hahnemann's father, Gottfried Christian Hahnemann, was a porcelain factory worker. At that time, porcelain was recently discovered, because obviously the phase of 1700 in the 17th century, the era was of industrial revolution. A lot of industries were growing up, and porcelain was a material which was at that time recently being discovered. And at that time, porcelain making was a very secret work of the people. Not many people were trained to do this work. They were trained secretly to do this porcelain work. I don't know the reason for this, it's not mentioned in the book, but this porcelain making thing was a very coveted, or very done in a secret way, and many people were trained to do this. But Dr. Gottfried Hahnemann was one of those who was trained to do this work of porcelain making, and he worked in a porcelain factory, and he purchased a house there for 437 thalers. That's the currency. Thalers were the currency of Germany at that time. So he purchased a house there in Meissen, Germany, in Messenia state of Germany, Meissen town, and he was married to Mrs. Hahnemann. That is, I would like to mention the name here from the book. Actually, I've made my notes also. I always make my notes according to this. Sorry if I've forgotten her mother name. That's Johanna Christiana. Johanna Christiana was the name of Dr. Hahnemann's mother, and his father's name was Gottfried Christian Hahnemann. So he purchased a house known as Eckhaus for 437 thalers in 1753. And Dr. Hahnemann, Dr. Samuel Christian Frederick Hahnemann, his full name was Dr. Samuel Christian Frederick Hahnemann. Obviously many homeopaths would be knowing. So he was born on 11th April of 1755. And this is all. I had made the excerpts from the chapter, because it's a long book, and you cannot decode every word and present it in the video. Here we need to know the basic facts. So he was born in Meissen, Messenia, Germany, in the year 1755 on 10th of April, which we celebrate as National Homeopathic Day or World Homeopathic Day, or Dr. Hahnemann's birthday. It's the most awaited event of the year for all the homeopaths. So he was born in the year 1755 on 10th of April, and then began the journey of the master. So in the second chapter of the book, you will find all the small details of the birth of Dr. Hahnemann, in a chronological order set by the master himself. All the books, have excerpts from the original person who is writing the book, and obviously Dr. Bradford had compiled all these things from different sources. If you read the preface of the books, here I have not taken the preface part because it would become too lengthy. So preface contains all the things which he had compiled. Dr. Bradford had different sources from which he compiled all the details of Dr. Hahnemann. Obviously, he got some original talkings of Dr. Hahnemann also. So in the second and the third chapter, Dr. Hahnemann himself had, given a chronological order of events of his life. I would, and in the third, fourth, fifth, in the fourth, fifth, and sixth and seventh chapter, the details have been decoded of the same life he had mentioned in the third, in the second and the third chapter. I am again mentioning in the second. In the first chapter, only his birth details, how his father was, where he was working, his mother's name, and his birthplace and birth year and birth date is given. That is the main thing that is mentioned in the first chapter. In the second and the third chapter, we find the and just a second, I just dim the videos. In the second and the third chapter, we find sorry for the interruption. So in the second and the third chapter, we will find the chronological events written by Dr. Hahnemann himself, and in the fourth, fifth, and the sixth and the seventh chapter, we will be taking till the seventh chapter, and we will be seeing what details, all the details mentioned are mentioned again in the subsequent chapters about what were the things given in the chapters. So sorry for that. Sorry for the interruption, guys. So in the second and the third chapter, chronological events are given by the Dr. Hahnemann himself. In the fourth, fifth, sixth, and the seventh chapters, those events are mentioned in very much detail about what happened in his life and what qualities we can see, so that we can imbibe in those qualities in ourselves. So moving on. Starting with his school days, Dr. Herring also has, Dr. Bradford had taken some expert from Dr. Herring. He mentions that Dr. Hahnemann had deep thirst to gain knowledge, but his father wanted a very simple, careful life for him. Now, Dr. Hahnemann's father was a very simple porcelain factory worker. He had many children. Dr. Hahnemann had around 6 to 7 siblings. So obviously a person as a laborer, he was working as a laborer in the porcelain factory, and he had a hard life. He had not much money to raise his children. He was a very simple man. So still he tried to inculcate the educations of his different kids, and especially Dr. Hahnemann. But he wanted obviously his children to also study, but also to gain some practical knowledge, so that they can move their life ahead, and they can earn some money from those skills, life skills, or certain practical things, not only just the books. He just did not want them to read the bookish knowledge or the bookish wisdom, but he also wanted some practical training for them. Especially for Dr. Hahnemann, he wanted him to become a skilled laborer or a something, so that he can earn some money and support the family also, because he himself didn't have much money. So obviously he wanted to give other skills, but Dr. Hahnemann was very sharp and brainy child who had a very great thirst of knowledge. Now this thing we need to imbibe as a homeopath. He had great integrity and great passion to study himself. At the age of 5, he was a very small child, but he had this inquisitiveness to read the books. You will see further in the chapter how what he did to quench this thirst for knowledge. At the age of 12, he taught Greek to other children. Now Greek was a language which was very prevalent at that time in the different parts of the world, because Greek philosophy or Greek culture was one of the main cultures which was prevalent during the initial civilization. It was the initial most civilizations which had developed a lot of philosophy, a lot of scientific knowledge, a lot of astronomy, a lot of astrology, a lot of medicine. So Greek knowledge was considered the epitome or the highest form of knowledge at that time. And Dr. Hahnemann had great knowledge of the Greek language, so he taught Greek to other children at the age of 12. He had many, in his school he had many multilingual children, and they were not able to speak the languages frequently. So Greek was an important subject to study at the time. So he taught Greek at that time, and he used to read a lot of books, a lot of old books. He used to study. He used to study medicine books. He used to study a lot of literature, and he used to even criticize the old writers at that time. At the age of 12, at the age of when you are just a kid growing into an adolescent, you are hungry for knowledge, you want to see the world, you want to explore the world. But his main exploration was through books. He wanted to study a lot, and he had this great thirst for knowledge. And so by reading those books, he used to even criticize the old writers at that time. He was a favorite student in the village, so teachers decided him to teach freely because he had so great thirst of knowledge that the teachers used to love him for that inquisitiveness, and they used to even teach him freely because his father didn't have much money to spend on him. And he formed his own herbarium of plants, and he was deeply interested in studies, so much interested that teachers used to teach him freely. Now this thirst we should also have. We should have this thirst to gain knowledge from wherever we are getting it. We had studied all these things in college. We had studied our materias, our poetries, but we had not studied the life of Hahnemann, which we are studying now. So this is the inquisitives you should have. You have the inquisitiveness to read the source books. You have to read the Materia Medica Pura. You have to read the chronic diseases. You have to read the lesser writings of Dr. Hahnemann. You have to read the organon in detail. You have to read the provings of the drugs. You have to read the pathological action of the drugs. We should be thirsty for knowledge from wherever we get it. We should attend our seminars, our webinars, our lectures, and we should be always thirsty for knowledge. Your learning should never end at the end of the day, even if you become a 70-year-old or an 80-year-old homeopath, because learning has no end. So Dr. Hahnemann was so inquisitive, and so that inquisitive, that thirst, that passion should be there in ourselves also, so that we can learn homeopathy better. We can improve ourselves better as a doctor, we can improve ourselves as a homeopath, and we can improve ourselves as human beings. Every book, everything written gives you immense knowledge. So we should not stop learning, we should not stop studying, and we should not stop where that the knowledge ends here. Now I don't want to learn anymore. No, we should be always be learning and always be continuing with the quest of learning. Sorry, my phone is not set properly today because I had to attend the patient. I could not set it properly. Next time I'll not do this, and I'll set my phone for a better place. So he was deeply interested in studies, and obviously this thirst was also shown that their home was a very not a very big home, so there were a lot of children, so they had to study also, and they had to do other things also. So at night, what Dr. Hahnemann used to do, whenever he used to feel like studying, and his father and mother, father especially, was strict that you don't only have to study, you have to learn other skills of life as well, so that you can earn a living. But he was so much interested in studying that at night he used to go into some very dark corner of his house, and he used to sit there, and he made a small earthen lamp for himself. He made a very very small earthen lamp for himself, so its light was also very dim, so that he can study alone. He didn't want the others, people to get up, all other siblings to get up, or the parents to get disturbed, or they should know that he's studying even at night. He's depriving himself of the sleep to gain that knowledge. And whenever you do that, when you deprive yourself of something very important in life, gain the knowledge, whole universe or the God or whatever energy you want to say, he helps you. It helps you to gain that knowledge, and it grows. You absorb that knowledge inside, and that knowledge what gave Dr. Hahnemann the insight to move ahead in life. So he used to study alone in his house, in a small dim corner with a small earthen lamp made by himself, to study these books. And he used to study a lot of languages. He used to study Latin, Greek, Hebrew, history, physics, botany, and of course the favorite, medical science. He was not only studying medical science, he was studying variety of subjects. So we should gain knowledge of variety of subjects. We should help ourselves to gain knowledge in whatever form or whatever way we can of different things. Like we say, you should study, not limit yourself to materia medica or repertory. You should study the chronic diseases. You should study the materia medica pura. You should study the organelle in detail. You should study the life and letters of Dr. Hahnemann. You should study the provings. You should study the chemistry of drugs, so that we can understand them and really know what is happening with the drugs and what is happening in the body. So his history, he studied diverse subjects. Then after that he left his princely school of Afra. His school's name, sorry to mention it later in this video, princely school of Afra was left, and he wrote a thesis in Latin on wonderful construction of human hand. At the age of 12 he wrote a thesis. How can you imagine that? He wrote but Dr. Hahnemann can, because he was a man of great strength, great enthusiasm, great zest to learn. So he wrote a thesis in Latin, wonderful construction of the human hand. He was given 20 thalers only to study later on. So this thesis was written at the meager age of 12 in Latin, and this shows the knowledge what Dr. Hahnemann possessed as a child. So moving ahead, so from this chapter 4th, we can learn that we should always have our quest for knowledge. We should never stop learning. We should gain knowledge from whatever sources we are getting. Today is the world of information outload on through internet, through social media and everything. But we should try to gain the correct knowledge, the appropriate knowledge, obviously through the books, because books are the main source of the knowledge. Internet can manipulate things, and there can be a lot of versions of that knowledge, but we should basically read the books to gain knowledge about what our master said, the different stalwarts of homeopathy said, and what the experience of every valuable homeopath has given us. He has given us, so moving ahead is in life, he was given 20 thalers only to study further and the college life. Now his father did not have much money to send him to college, so he was sent to Leipzig later on after studying his schooling, doing in obviously the primary school of Afra, the princely school of Afra, that was the main name of the school. After completing his primary school in Mainz in Germany, he was given some money to go to Leipzig to study, but his money finished and he becomes a merchant there. But because he started doing some business there to earn money to support his education. Second quality which we see of Dr. Hahnemann here, he was a self-made man. He did not have enough money even to study at that time. His father was a very not a very well-off man. He had very simple living, and he had very little money to source his son to study further. But Dr. Hahnemann had so much thirst for knowledge that he wanted to study at any cost. So when his father gave him only so small amount of money and sent him to Leipzig to study higher further studies, to do his college, he his money was finished very easily, and he started doing some business of meager amount of, like you can say a shopkeeper like thing. He started doing something, some earn some money, but due to his intellectual inclination, he could not do so for long and went back to his parents. So obviously he had so much inclination to study that he had to tell his parents that no, I want to study further. I cannot do just this, work for a living and move my life ahead like this. So his mother, he knew his son was very much intellectually inclined. He wanted to study further. So I'm saying he, yeah. So she convinced the father of Dr. Hahnemann to, let him support himself and let him study further, so that he can continue and study whatever he wants to do and not just earn a living and move ahead in life. So his mother made a major role. Obviously his father also played a very very major role to shape him as an individual. And one thing I forgot to mention here, his father used to give him some thinking lessons. He knew, he implemented a lot of value system in his children. And Dr. Hahnemann, his father also knew he was intellectually inclined, that he wanted to study. So in order to sharpen his brain, he used to give him some thinking lessons, which is mentioned in this book of thinking lessons. He used to give him certain situations which he used to do problem solving like things. Like we give a situation to our children कि ये problem है, this is the problem, you need to solve it yourself. You are alone at home, nobody is at home, you are locked from inside, what will you do? You can give a situation to the child to take care of himself by himself, or go and bring something outside from the shop. The child will go himself and bring that thing from the shop and give you the money back. And so he'll learn the basic life problem skills, he will learn the basic living skills of the life. So this what he used to do, his father used to do, and he used to give him thinking lesson. And mother in his later life supported him to study further, even if they didn't have the money to support him. So Dr. Hahnemann used to work also, and he used to study also. And his main work, as many homeopaths would be knowing, was translation, because he knew several languages. So he used his quality very well to earn himself money and to support his education. So moving ahead with chapter 5, life at Leipzig and Vienna. Now this life at Leipzig and Vienna consists of those chapters in the life of Hahnemann which include his student and his college life, and how he supported himself financially, and how also he slowly and steadily became a doctor in medicine. He became an MD doctor in medicine. At that time he was an MD doctor, he was an MD allopath, but later on he switched to homeopathy. But how he slowly came up to that destination, this is what it's all about. So what he did during the day, he has moved to Leipzig. He had gone once there, he came back to his parents when his money was finished, and he say, I cannot do this only just by working, I need to study also. His mother convinced his father, so he again came back to Leipzig, and he started. During the day he used to attend the lectures at the college, and during the night translation from English to German, taught German and French to support himself. He used to taught German and French to other students to earn money. And also he did various translations from English to German. He saved this money to go to Vienna, where advantages for medical study were greater. He further went to Vienna because the college was better and the opportunity to study was better there. But some malicious people, people are not ready or happy to see somebody growing also. There are many wicked people in that. So some of his own friends stole his money, and he not even left a penny for him to go to Vienna, because they were jealous of him. He was such a bright student, he was such a good student, he was so inquisitive, so thirsty for knowledge. All the teachers used to like him, whether at school or whether at college. He was so much liked by his teachers that people were jealous of him, and they did not want him to become a doctor and to study further. How can such a meager peasant person who is a son of a laborer, of a factory worker, have this inquisitive knowledge and wants to become a doctor. It's not a digestible thing to many people now. In our present scenarios also, whenever a person is growing on his own basis, having no godfather in any of the areas you're working, people are very jealous of you. They don't want you to grow and move ahead in life. So they stole his money, whatever he earned from those lectures and from his translations, and he was penniless, and he did not have money to go to Vienna. So but he never named those person, and he forgave them. He has not mentioned any names in his books, but he forgave them and moved other. See the gem of a person Dr. Hahnemann was. He was a very kind-hearted person, a very noble soul, a down-to-earth person who believed in the values of life, the basic values, the life values, the moral values of life, which he was imbibed, which he inculcated from his, middle class father and middle class mother, and he was always ready to learn, but yet he always, overcame the obstacles of life. This is also a very good quality. So the first quality was inquisitiveness, curiosity, to gain more knowledge and to be thirsty for knowledge. Second quality is to overcome the odds of life, overcome all the challenges of life. The first challenge was financial. He was not financially stable. Second, his parents were against studying. Third, he had to go some at other place and work for a living, and then also people were against him. They stole his money. So one by one he is overcoming those challenges. So this second quality, to overcome all the hurdles in life, all the challenges in life, and all the problems in life, and to work towards your goal, to be passionate about your goal, to become what you want to become, is what makes Dr. Hahnemann a gem of a person. So I'm very much inspired by this thing, that he overcame all his problems in his life to reach where he wanted to reach, and he became a doctor, a MD doctor. That's quite a quality. I was very much touched by this quality of him, and I really pray to God so that I can also have, we also as a homeopath have these qualities in ourselves to overcome all the problems. We have a lot of problems as an individual, as a human being, and also as a homeopath. So we should be able to one by one overcome those challenges and move ahead in life, and even forgive the people who have made ill. There's a beautiful prayer in English which says, "Oh God, forgive those who have sinned against us. Do not bring us to the test." So this is a small prayer made to Jesus Christ, where it is said we should not sin against those who have sinned against us. We should forgive them, because we should have those goodness. In this world, only goodness comes to the help of who are, only the goodness of a human being is the quality which helps the other human being. If you are a wicked person, you will not go and help the other person, and that makes the world a very, very bad place. But if you are a good person, good qualities, if you forgive the sin of other people, and you become and you retain that goodness in yourself, you can make this world a better place to live in. So third quality that Dr. Hahnemann possessed was the goodness, the integrity of a human being, which he had in himself, to overcome the hurdles in his life and move ahead. So here I want to mention some of the names of his translated books. John Stedman's Physiological Essays, and then Nugent on Hydrophobia, Falconer on Water of Bath, 2 volumes, Ball's Modern Practice of Physics in 2 volumes, and Leipzig Homoeopathic Journal. There was this journal that was published later on in 1865. This whole chronology which we saw was occurring in the 17th century. He was born in 1755, then he was moved to Leipzig in 1773, and in 1775, when he was in Leipzig, he wrote a Latin poem which was published in a Leipzig Homoeopathic Journal, which was published in 1865. He wrote the poem in 1775, and after almost 90 years, that poem was published in a Homoeopathic Journal in 1865. Now, these chronological events are quite boring to hear, and these sessions are very, I think it's not easy to hear this lecture on life and letters of Hahnemann or any lectures on organon, but we need to, what insights, what experience, what knowledge we gain from this is what we need to, we need to hear these lectures for. So I really wish that people are seeing and watching these lectures and liking them also. So his poem was published in the year 1865. In 1777 he left for Vienna. He was robed in Vienna. He went to Vienna. This is later revealed in the book that after moving on to Vienna, his money was robbed and he had to live on small sum of 68 florins. Now these are currencies which are mentioned in the books. There was thalers and now this is florins. So after moving to Vienna, he was robbed of his money by his fellow students, and after that in Vienna in Leopoldstadt he was placed under von Quarin in Brothers of Charity Hospital. Now this is a very important event in the life of Dr. Hahnemann. After moving to Vienna, he was robbed of his money. He didn't have money left to support himself. Now there was a hospital named Brothers of Charity. This was an allopathic charity hospital that was running in Vienna that time, and there the chief consulting physician was Dr. von Quarin. He saw what Dr. Hahnemann was made of. He was very much impressed with Dr. Hahnemann, and he was his special pupil. He took Dr. Hahnemann under his special care, and he was the chief physician of the Emperor Joseph and the Emperor of Vienna of that. At that time, obviously there was monarchy. That is, the rules of kings and queens were there in the Europe and whole of the Europe. Even in India, we had this monarchy reign. So Dr. von Quarin was the chief physician of the Emperor Joseph and Mary, and used to run this Brothers of Charity Hospital, and he was very much impressed. And obviously Dr. Hahnemann was his acquaintance. After coming to Vienna, he made certain acquaintances, certain people, he made certain collaborations, he met people, and Dr. von Quarin was one of them. And he was the main person, he was the special pupil of him, of Dr. Van Quarin, and he all his life speaks very highly of Dr. Van Quarin, his role in shaping him as a physician, because he employed himself under him in the Brothers of Charity Hospital to make him learn, to make him really learn the things under him. At Vienna there was no job and translation, but he only devoted himself to his studies. He did no translations and no other things to support himself. Dr. von Quarin was supporting himself maybe financially. This is not specifically mentioned in the book, but he took him as a special memory. So he was teaching him free of the cost because of his intellectual capabilities and as a person what Dr. Hahnemann was. So Dr. von Quarin taught him freely, and he gave him the privilege to attend his private patients in the hospital and outside the hospital. He gave that special privilege to Dr. Hahnemann to study all his patients, to see all his private patients, especially the emperors and the the important clergy and all the noblery at that time, all the high class people at that time, all the elite class people at that time. He gave him access to see those patients. So he was the main rescuer there. He was his god there, Dr. von Quarin. I'm mentioning it again. He was the main rescuer of Dr. Hahnemann at that time. But his soons, again he was back. Obviously he didn't have money, so Dr. von Quarin was supporting him throughout. Again, his money finished. Maybe sometimes he used to, earn some money from here and there, and soon, but they were finished very easily. So what next did von Quarin do? Dr. von Quarin appointed him as the family physician and librarian to Baron von Bruckenthal, governor of Siebenburg, lived in Hermannstadt. Now in Vienna, he was studying there under Dr. von Quarin. He was, gaining his knowledge. But again you have to move further. Now Erlangen was a place that was very close to Vienna, and now this Hermannstadt is a different place and Erlangen is a different place. So from Vienna he sent him to Hermannstadt, Dr. von Quarin, that you study further there. And the governor of that place, that governor of Hermannstadt, was Mr. Baron von Bruckenthal, and he had an extensive, very large library of books for which Dr. Hahnemann was appointed as the caretaker of that library, and he was, given free lectures of different teachers at the College of Erlangen, where he studied a lot of medicine and a lot of other things, and especially he studied in that library. You can see his thirst of knowledge is taking him places, and he is not stopping anywhere. He is not stopping. Dr. Hahnemann is not stopping in his quest for knowledge. He's just going on and going on and going on and going on and going on. He's gaining knowledge wherever he is getting on. So he was given as a charge of that library of the governor of Hermanstedt, and he gained knowledge and matchless collection of books he had. He gained excessive knowledge on ancient literature, on occult sciences, which he proved to the master with astonished the scientific world. He learned several languages of philology, philosophy, Greek, Latin, different languages. He always had a just to learn the language. He did not know. He did not stop at anywhere. He used to speak 13 languages. Can you imagine that? So what broad perspective he had in his brain to just gain knowledge from wherever he got. He used to study different languages. He studied literature. He studied occult sciences. He studied chemistry. He studied philology. He studied philosophy. So he studied extensive amount of books to move ahead, and he stayed in the Baron's library for 1 year and 9 months. He stayed almost there for 1.5 years, more than 1.5, that you can say 1 year 9 months, less than a year, when at gained knowledge from that library, a whole lot of knowledge. Went to University of Erlangen and attended lectures of Delcies, Isenflam, Bend and Strutter. These are the names of the professors who taught him freely. He didn't have money. He didn't have money. Teachers liked him, so he taught them freely. He taught them botany also there. He studied botany from those lectures. So he studied extensively during time in Vienna under Dr. von Quarren. He saw his patients. He studied medicine there, and in Erlangen at Hermanstedt he studied further. He studied in the library, and also in Erlangen during with the different lectures and different professors they taught him. And on 10th August of 1779 he received his doctorate of medicine. He received his doctorate degree in the year 1779. This is a very major date in the life of Dr. Hahnemann. 10th August 1779 he received the doctorate of medicine. His subject of thesis was a consideration of the etiology and therapeutics of the spasmodic affections. So first thesis he wrote on the construction of the human hand, which he wrote in his childhood. Second thesis he wrote on consideration of etiology and therapeutics of spasmodic affections, published in Erlangen, quantity of 20 pages. Of 20 pages he wrote this thesis on the etiology and therapeutic of spasmodic. This was his topic for completing the doctorate of medicine. Then only he got his degree in 1779. So he was a doctor now. He was a well-qualified doctor. But now again different struggles came up in his life. He went to Saxony. Now Saxony is a different state in Germany. Town of Hermanstedt on Hedstadt. Hermanstedt and Hedstadt are different town. You have different town names mentioned here. Sometimes we also get confused. So majorly he moved to Saxony. There he devoted himself to copper mining. Now he is switching his interest subject to the subject of mining. He learned mining, what miners used to do, what chemistry they used to study. Remained in Hedstadt for 9 months as a place very small, and profession wise nothing to do in relation to. So he was not practicing medicine after becoming a doctor. After going to Hedstadt in Saxony, he did not have a place to practice. He did not have a clinic or a chamber to practice, like we have the privilege to have a clinic and the chamber we are sitting in, we are practicing as a doctor. He did not have that means. He did not have a place to practice. You can see the struggle what he went through. So he learned copper mining there. So he's learning from whatever and wherever he is getting. See his gestulani. You can see the picture of Dr. Hahnemann at the back side of my video. I have placed it here, and I always daily pray him as a god. I move my incense sticks also in front of him. I really worship him because he was a very rare person which was born on earth to give this gift of humanity, of homeopathy to us. So it's an inspiration. So when we worship somebody, even if you're worshiping some deity, we are trying to imbibe those qualities in us. If you're worshipping Lord Hanuman or you're worshipping Lord Rama, you imbibe the qualities of that deity in you. I don't know how many people know this fact, but whenever you are worshipping some person, you are not worshipping that person, you're worshipping the qualities that person is possessing. Lord Rama had this quality of being the great man who sacrificed everything, even his wife, his children, for the sake of his kingdom. So you are imbibing the quality of sacrifice in you. You're imbibing the quality of being the greatest son who sacrificed his kingdom for his, even for his father and mother. Then again, he sacrificed his wife and son for his kingdom and his people. So whenever we are worshipping Lord Ram, we are remembering those qualities and we are trying to imbibe those qualities. We are worshipping Lord Hanuman. Lord Hanuman was a great devotee of Lord Ram. He could do anything for Lord Ram. He sacrificed his life was for Lord Ram. He was in servitude. The quality of service we see in Lord Hanuman. So similarly, when we worship Dr. Hahnemann, you see the qualities of this thirst of knowledge, this inquisitiveness of knowledge, the struggles, the ways to overcome the struggles in your life, and still being a dignified and integrity filled human being you become, and moving ahead in life. So he used to learn the copper mining there, went to, now again he's moving from different places. Now this is a place known Dessau in 1781 in spring. So now here it's mentioned that he graduated in August 1779, then he went to Hedstad in the summer 1780. There's a period of gap there. So in between he practiced sometime in Lower Hungary as verified in various source books. So when you have excerpts from various source books here. So here Dr. Bradford is saying that after he became the doctor of medicine, then he went to Dessau in 1781 and in spring. So here he graduated in August, and in 1779 he went to Halmstad in summer 1780. In between this time he practiced in Lower Hungary as verified in various source books. Okay, and so because in Saxony, so in between he was practicing sometimes in Hungary, but after that he moved to Saxony, and then from Saxony he moved to Dessau in 1781. So from Vienna from Leipzig to Vienna to Hedstad, that is Saxony, and from Saxony to Hungary, Lower Hungary, where he practiced for some time. Then he moved to again to Hedstad, where he was learning copper mining and other things. And in 1781 he moved to Dessau. So after gaining this doctorate in medicine, he practiced for some time in some parts of Hungary in Europe. Then later on he moved to Saxony, where he learned a lot of mining and a lot of chemistry. Then in 1781 he moved to Dessau to continue his professional practice. Obviously you are a doctor, you cannot do mining all the time. So because there were better conditions in Dessau to practice medicine, also he studied a lot of chemistry in Dessau also. So after learning mining in Saxony, he moved to Dessau, and there he learned a great deal of chemistry from a lot of chemists. He made acquaintances with a lot of chemists there, and also he started practicing there. Berzelius, great chemist, said that he would have been a great chemist. The great chemist of that time was Berzelius. His name was Berzelius. He gave this title of being a chemist to Dr. Hahnemann. He also learned great about mining and smelting, as he regularly visited the mines in the vicinity. He regulated the labs of different chemists. I would just take a break of 1 second just to have some things here. Just a 1 second break. I need to do something important, and I'll be joining back the live session. Just give me a break. Okay, so I'm back here. I had certain issue to attend to. So yeah, just a second. Okay. Okay. So here we can see that he was a great chemist. After reaching Dessau, he started studying chemistry there. Also, there were mines there also, so he attended those mineries regularly to gain insight into the chemistry part of it. From here, he gained his knowledge of chemistry, and from here he not started, he gained the knowledge of chemistry here, and later on in life he applied that knowledge to study the drugs and to experiment himself from those drugs. So he regularly visited the lab. Also, he regularly visited the mines. He regularly visited the lab of apothecary. Apothecary means a chemist. Dr. Hessler was there and learned practical pharmacy and chemistry from him. So his whole knowledge of chemistry also started coming up, and later on he used this knowledge to apply in the drug provings, in the drugs he proved on himself and others, and the pathological knowledge of drugs he imbibed from this knowledge of chemistry. So again, you see a different quality in him to, studying a different subject so that he can understand his own subject. So this is also a quality we need to have in ourselves. So this was still chapter 6 here that we saw here. Only the last chapter of chapter 7 is left. Then we will be finishing off this session. I hope people are watching, homeopaths are watching this and they're liking it. And please, whoever is watching this video, please post your comments in the comment box and give me your feedback so that I can improve. Obviously, the today's glitch was that I couldn't adjust my phone properly for the video. I'm really sorry for that because I had a patient to attend just before the session, so I couldn't make up because the time was getting so close. I just abruptly started the video. So obviously I need to set the video to a certain tone and a certain place so that the video is good and people can watch more and more of it. So moving ahead to chapter 7, his marriage. This chapter is all about his first marriage, life at Goman, and uncertainty. That is this first uncertainty in his life. Again, his life was full of uncertainty, and his first original work as a doctor. So we will be going to see all these things. Till chapter 6 we saw his birth, his life at school, what qualities did he was, his college life, how he overcame his struggles. He met many good people on quarantine, Dr. Barron's library where he gained all knowledge, and all the lectures he was getting for free. How God helped him to gain that knowledge what he was thirsty for. Now again now he has become a doctor. He has gained a wide variety of knowledge. He has learned different languages. He has gained knowledge of chemistry, pharmacy, literature, occult sciences. He had gained all this from various sources, not only from his college, from other sources also. Now moving ahead, he went to a different place called Goman in 1789. That is a small town, in Dessau only. Goman is a small town in a district of Dessau, and he was one of the first physician who was ever settled there. It was a very small town, Goman, and not many physicians used to settle there. So he was married. Now he was married here to Elsie Kuchler. He was the daughter of apothecary chemist Kuchler, who was the successor of Hessler. In this previous chapter we were mentioning that he used to visit the lab of apothecary Hessler. Now Hessler had a successor named Kuchler, and Kuchler had a daughter named Elsie Kuchler, and Elsie Kuchler was the first wife of Dr. Hahnemann. We will later on see Dr. Hahnemann married again also, but his first wife was Elsie Kuchler, whom he married in 1782. He was the daughter of chemist Kuchler, okay, and he was the successor of apothecary Hessler. Now these small details you can read in the book, and it's not read to learn it. What we need to see in these lectures is what we can learn from Dr. Hahnemann's life. So obviously his marriage was registered in St. John's Church on 1st December 1782. Hahnemann was 28 years old and his bride was 19 years old. There was a gap of 10 years. Obviously, at that time there was a huge gap between the uh, both the partners. Maybe that was very prevalent at that time. And he was married to Elise Kuchka, who went here in Gomand and also continued his literary work. Now, after coming in Gomand, he again started translating things to earn a living to support his family. And at the end of 1783 or at the starting of 1784, both the dates are written here. First child, Henrietta, was born. Henrietta was the first daughter, Henita, of Henrietta or Henita, I don't know this or anything, was Dr. Henrietta Hahnemann, was the first daughter of Dr. Hahnemann. And here he also kept on his translating works. Now his translating works changed the subject. Previously he was translating different medicine books in different languages. He was teaching languages, but now he was translating chemistry books because he had gained extensive knowledge of chemistry from the mining and from other chemists or other labs of the apothecaries. So his translating from French was done from this was the book's name was Art of Manufacturing Chemical Products by Demacky. Demacky was the name of the initial author, the French author, and he translated this book from French to German as a duty to his countrymen. So he translated this book from French to German. He was a very beautiful person. He realized his responsibility as a countryman, as a national, as a like for we are Indian national, he was a German national. He realized that he had his certain duty towards his nation also. So he translated this French book of chemistry to German as a duty to his country. Sometimes chemist named Stroh published a new edition to the translation and additions to. So many chemists were associated with Dr. Hahnemann, and he used to translate those works in German, in English, in other languages, so that many people could study it. He shows the marvelous chemical knowledges. Dr. Hahnemann was a great chemist. So the chemists are praising Dr. Hahnemann about his knowledge of his marvelous chemical knowledge that Dr. Hahnemann possessed. Various chemists of that time, the famous chemists of that time, are praising Dr. Hahnemann. His main works were on lead. I'm saying pronouncing it wrong. It is lead, quicksilver, camphor, succinic acid, borax. I'm really sorry for all the mistakes I make in this video, whether literature wise or speaking wise or otherwise. Please bear me for that. So he quotes works on lead, quicksilver, camphor, succinic acid and borax. Dr. Hahnemann corrects the mistakes of Demacky regarding use of alum in different countries. He introduces many original chemical improvements and tests. He used to suggest improvements to the chemists. So what kind of chemist he was? He was a great knowledge. He possessed the great knowledge of chemistry. 2 volumes of the book was published in 1784 in Leipzig, where he suggested some additions in the Demacky's work, the French person whom his book he got translated. Then in 85 he again translated Demacky's another book, Art of Distilling Liquor, in 2 volumes. And now there was another chemist writing in French in a journal in 1792 about his distillers. So people are adopting Dr. Hahnemann's method of chemistry. They are advising the chemist to adopt new methods. What Dr. Hahnemann, what additions, what improvements that Dr. Hahnemann advised in his translations to the chemists. So he was translating books, and he was pointing out the mistakes that chemists were doing in performing the chemical experiments, and he was advising them to make those additions and to improve them, and he was giving those additions in his translation books. And other chemists were also advising his advisories to the people who were practicing chemistry. So what he had great knowledge, and people were recognizing. People always recognized his knowledge as a chemist, as a doctor, but not as a homeopath. Later on he was criticized a lot, but right now as a chemist he was praised a lot, and his ways were carried further by other chemists to use his methods to reject old distillery apparatus using the French arrangement clearly described by Dr. Hahnemann. published some medical essays in second volume of Krebs Journal, several translations from English and Latin in Vegan journal. So he was translating different journals also, and in translating in different languages. And his moving ahead, his first original work as a doctor. He published his book on treatment of scrofular sores in 1784 in Leipzig. He published his first original medical work named Treatment of Scrofular Sores in 1784 in Leipzig. First original medical work. Hahnemann was not satisfied with methods of medical practice at this time. So he was translating different chemistry book. He was practicing also. He was controlling his literary works, and medically he was publishing this book of treatment of scrofular sores in 1784. And this was his original medical work. And slowly and steadily he was realizing that allopathic system of medicine was not up to the mark, and he was very much dissatisfied, and he started feeling that there needs something to be done to improve this system of medicine. So I'm quoting these lines from the last lines which were mentioned in the last chapter of chapter 7. This much is true, and it may make us more modest, that almost all our knowledge of the curative processes of simple and natural as well as artificial substance is mainly derived from the crude and automatic procedures of common people. And the wise physician often draws conclusion from the effects of the so-called domestic remedies, which of inestimable importance to him. Okay, so this he has written that many natural and curative processes were, derived from natural or normal or layman people also, and or the knowledgeable and the curative processes were derived from the rude and automatic procedures of common people. And the wise physician of what draws conclusion from the effects of so-called domestic remedies. Before independence, India used to practice Ayurveda, and we had all the remedies in our kitchen. We had remedy in the form of cumin, in the form of turmeric, in the form of many spices. It was the land of the spices, and our spices almost act as medicine. So similarly, at that time in other parts of the world, people used to take the medicines from their own kitchen, from their own kitchen garden, from the herbs which used to present, from the plants and plants and the herbs which were prevalent around at that vicinity in that local area. So this was a very common practice at that time, because medical science was not very much developed. It was just evolving, and it used very, very wrong methods of leeching and all those other things of cupping, leeching, and giving, crude drugs which their action they didn't know. So many people used to rely more on home remedies only, and on, natural healing processes. So Dr. Hahnemann used to observe that this was the case, and this observation of being dissatisfied with the allopathic system of medicine was his experience in Transylvania. Paul frankly said that his patients would probably have been better done without him. That without the use of allopathic medicine, the patient would have been better by only using the home remedies, or because we unnecessarily give the medicines to the patients. Sometimes it's just the diet and regimen which cures the patient. It's only the thought process change, or just counseling words which can treat the patient. So again, we are learning something from Dr. Hahnemann. It's not always necessary to give the medicine. Only your two soothing words, your advice to the patient about the diet and regimen, how to take care of it, how to manipulate his diet. Many of the times, my also patients who are having a lot of digestive issues, if you counsel that patient about when to eat, what to eat, and what time to eat, and how much quantity to eat, if we modulate that, half of his digestion issues are resolved. You don't need to give them the medicine. So obviously, and he gave a lot of stress, in fact, also in organ of medicine, on diet and regimen and counseling of the patient, and about the hygiene of the patient. Again, in the book, it's mentioned at the age and time of Hahnemann, hygiene was paid very little attention, but Dr. Hahnemann advised exercise, open air, benefits of change of climate, and seashore, value of cold water as a remedial agent. All these natural things he is advising to his patients. He is advising not to use too much of medicine. Obviously, homeopathic medicine is very mild as compared to allopathic medicine, but that also is advising is to not unnecessarily bombard the patient with a lot of medicine. So this is the fourth point which we are learning from Dr. Hahnemann. First point I would like to summarize here. This is what till chapter 7 we have read from Life and Letters of Dr. Hahnemann, and this is what this session was about. Let's summarize what we have learned from Dr. Hahnemann. First point is unquenchable, unrequited, unending thirst for unending knowledge and learning. This is the first learning which we get from him. Second is overcoming the hurdles and challenges in life with great strength and resilience and moving ahead towards our goal. Third, being integrated, honest, and honest, to the people also, and to God also, and to ourselves also. Being an honest, integrated, and a very kind-hearted human being. And fourth, not giving too much medicine. That's the doctory part of it. That's the doctor part of it. But as a human being, we learn three different things. But as a doctor, as a homeopath, we should not always give the medicine to the patient. We should always try to correct his diet and nutrition, practice hygienic practice. If there's whatever lack which we see or observe, but the patient is not doing right, we should always counsel them. We should counsel them psychologically also. Use the psychological counseling part most of the time, and see the patient. And then if the patient is requiring medicine, obviously see the totality or see the particulars or whatever you are getting in the case, and prescribe the medicine on that. So this was about the first session of Life and Letters of Hahnemann. I'm really sorry about the glitches and about the default setting of my mobile phone to make the video, and for joining in late. I hope I had done justice in trying to explain what I have gained my insight and experience from reading this Life and Letters of Hahnemann. And do give your valuable comments in this video, and I will try to improve myself more and try to make better videos next time, so that we can have more enlightening and good sessions, more interactive sessions. I don't know, I don't get the comments during the live session, but after the live session is ended, you can post in your comments, whether negative or positive, to help me grow as a speaker, as a teacher. I will not label myself as a teacher right now. Obviously I'm in the process of learning, so that I can improve myself, and I can give insights on the learning, and we can move further ahead to get better insight and learn from the master himself. Learn from the master himself, Dr. Hahnemann, from Life and Letters of Hahnemann by Dr. Bradford. This was our first session, and thank you so much for all those who are watching the video. See you next again in the second session. I'll be posting again the creatives and the date for the live session, or maybe the YouTube video I'll be posting, and see you there. Thank you so much and good afternoon. Thank you. Dhanyawad.